Hey, so you gonna run the intro or what?
No.
No? Why not? You're mad at John Cena still for going heel. You're kidding me. That's from not this. This is Peacemaker. You don't care. Could you just humor me and do the intro anyway?
Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the dojo. Today's featured show, Peacemaker, Season 2.
Thank you. Yes, this is Peacemaker, Season 2, Episode 1. Welcome back, or to the dojo for the first time. I'm Ryu. That's Age. That was our producer, Victoria, being difficult because she's still mad at John Cena. Even though he's not heel anymore. You know, he went, good guy again, and yeah? Okay. Anyway, this is the first time we've done a live action show for our channel. I recently got my original channel terminated and then reinstated, but after the termination due to nonsense, see the first video of this channel, what happened with that. And I will have an explanation video as to what happened with that, how I got my other channel back. But we're still staying on this channel because we've completely revamped how we do stuff. As you guys can see, there's a timer above my head to avoid copyright stuff for the live reactions that we do. In short, we don't talk during the entire live reaction. We take it in and we mostly talk after the fact, but there are people who want to see the reaction and stuff like that. So we're doing timer-based reactions, meaning that timer up there will start when the episode starts. So if you have to walk away, or you know exactly where we are in the episode so you can watch it alongside us, whatever it is, because copyright has gotten out of control. So no freaking video or audio, anything from anything that we do, because it's just third parties are going full Karen mode, I guess, these days, even on people like us who have around 150 subscribers on our other channel. So it's not like we were disseminating copyrighted material to millions of people for free. But yes, so that's how we do it. We have a section where we have the timer-based reaction, which will be up on Patreon, and it will be in the link in the description of this same video on YouTube, because our intros for both are the same intro, but one's the reaction and the other one is the review and discussion after the fact. So if you're watching on Patreon, you're on Patreon. It's completely free. I'm not paywalling any of this. You'll have the timer-based reaction for that. And if you want to see the review and discussion, it'll be back over on YouTube on this channel. But the links will be down there to the timer-based reaction on Patreon. It'll just take you to Patreon. And if that link doesn't function, my Patreon link is around here somewhere. So you can just go to the Patreon and it has the list of the stuff for the timer-based reaction. So you can just search whatever you're looking for. So that's how we do stuff around here. If you're new, welcome. This is the first time we've done a live action show. We've talked about it for a while. We watched Peacemaker Season 1. I've been a John Cena fan on and off since I was a kid. I like John. He's been done pretty well for himself just across the board. And he's portraying Peacemaker pretty well as far as I'm concerned. We got into the DC stuff with like the Harley Quinn HBO series. That was really good. That was a fun show. Kite Man, that addition to it, that was great. So we figured, hey, let's watch Season 1 of Peacemaker. I think we did it like a year and a half ago or so. And
It was still relatively new at the time.
yeah, so we were like, when Season 2 comes out, we should do it. And lo and behold, Season 2 comes out in the middle of one of our most busy things, because now with the John Cena sandwich on Saturday, there's only one day where we don't have a video slot. So yeah, it's a long ass week between starting on Wednesday and going through Monday is the cycle. So
Yeah, and then adding to that, we're like a week out from freaking Hell of a Boss starting, so we're gonna have to delay that.
yep. So that will probably just be a Vivsy double take on Hell of a Boss and Has Been at the same time when the next season comes around, because I believe this is also 8 episodes again, but since it's double length, it takes a little bit more time for us, obviously. But either way, I'm excited for this. If there is one thing we learned from Season 1, it's that there is no wrong time to rock. And that's the only thing that came out of the first season, right? So it'll be interesting to see where they pick up the story from here. I saw a couple of things that James Gunn posted, and it was some character, and I have no idea who she is, so it's not really a spoiler. I've never heard of this character, but apparently she's in this season. There are a couple other major DC characters in this season that it was mentioned. I won't say who they are just in case you haven't heard it. I'll just say there are a couple major DC characters that are also going to be in the season. So at the end of last season, we did get cameos from the guy who plays Flash and Jason Momoa, who does Aquaman. And then we had the silhouettes of Superman, Wonder Woman, right? And then maybe Batman. I don't remember if Batman was.
I don't think Batman was, but yeah. The only thing I know about this season is apparently, for at least part of it, we're going to be doing some sort of alternate timeline shenanigans, because that's apparently just the thing going around right now.
Right. So good luck competing with the TVA and Loki and all that shit in Marvel, because that was pretty good. So anyway, that's where we're at. We'll be doing this every week on Saturday. So yeah, I'm excited for more Peacemaker. Season 1 was fun. It had a bunch of interesting stuff. It'll be interesting to see if we're still going to do the same cast, what's going to be happening, because obviously the Project Butterfly stuff is over. So it's not like they have the task force anymore. So we'll just have to see where it goes from here. I assume it's mostly going to be early on just Peacemaker and then Vigilante, I assume. So the rest of them went back to work with Waller, I guess. And Harcourt is recovering from her massive injury. So,
yeah.
Anyway, that being said, let's go ahead, push some buttons, and see what's up with Peacemaker Season 2. So if you're on the reaction end, we'll get the timer set up for you in a second. And if you're over on YouTube for the review and discussion, we'll see you right on the other side of the edit for that. So here goes something. Well, alrighty then. As you guys can see here, this is like one of the world's oldest parking lots. And Adebayo still decided to drive over the speed bump. See, anytime I get into a parking lot like this, and I have the opportunity to not go over a speed bump in my car, I just drive straight through the freaking open spaces there on the right. Well, on screen left, but whatever, on their right. But yeah, that one really got me. But again, as we mentioned at the end of the reaction there, little cliff notes from the end of the reaction. Nathan Fillion, holy shit. To me, for me in particular, and just I think objectively speaking, that Nathan Fillion has the potential to elevate any series. He's been around for quite a long time. He's played a myriad of roles, dating all the way back to like cult classics like freaking Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Angel, stuff like that. Firefly, obviously. You know, he did, he's still doing The Rookie, I believe. Several other shows, you know, movies, whatnot. He's been in a couple animated things. You know, he was in freaking Halo ODST. So Nathan Fillion's been around, and he's very beloved, and I love that man. So if he's in this show, even just a little bit, that elevates it for me. Go Nathan Fillion. So we had to look up the Green Lantern he is playing, Guy. Apparently, it's he's in the most recent Superman movie. So we mentioned at the end of the reaction that if we can find a way to get our hands on that, I don't know if that's like out like digital platform yet or whatever. But if it has stuff that's like relevant to the situation, because they mentioned a Lex Luthor thing that happened, which apparently happens in the movie, which the Argus general and his coworker, whatever she was, lieutenant, scholar, whatever, Bordeaux, I believe her name was.
It's like Sophie Bordeaux or whatever, and she's actually usually the one who's in charge of Argus, so we're doing something a little bit differently in this one.
Okay. Yeah, because again, I haven't heard of Argus, so that's new to me. Paige mentioned that they're like kind of like lower tier defense force stuff. So
they're just one of the numerous different like government defense forces. Them try basically just the government trying to keep tabs on metahumans.
Right. Which again, Peacemaker not really a metahuman. And then Green Lantern, generally speaking, not a metahuman. Maybe some of the aliens are metahuman. But
yeah, Guy Gardner specifically is, because he is half alien.
Okay.
he's human and some other alien race. I'm not sure how you pronounce it. Voldarian.
Okay. Yeah, that doesn't ring a bell for me because once again, I have what I consider a reasonable amount of DC knowledge, especially over the last decade or so. But especially with the Harley Quinn and Kite Man stuff. But there's a lot in the MCU and the DCU. It's just, I mean, when Death Battle did the Booster Gold thing, I was like, really, Booster Gold has that much lore? Holy crap. You know what I mean? So
yeah, apparently Guy has been around since the late 60s.
I mean, there's only so much information we can take in, right? The oversaturation of media. If anybody ever gives you or anyone you know shit for not knowing something, just point out how much shit there is out there to know. Especially when it comes to just the entertainment industry. Okay? It's like, how do you not know that? It's like, well, I mean, there are certain things. Like, obviously, like the big time name. You probably know the big time names if you're like in any kind of industry. But hell, there are some people at ESPN who've never heard of Twitch. Okay? So that's mind-boggling to me. But it's just one of those things for some of the stuff. It's like, oh, I thought you were into this kind of thing. It's like, well, yeah, but there's so much comic lore out there. The amount of stuff that has been written since the golden and silver eras of comics, it's almost been 100 years continuously. You know what I mean? Stuff being written, rewritten, stuff like that, stuff that remains canon. The multiverse stuff that we got with here with Peacemaker going to the alternate universe where him, his dad, and himself are like some kind of trio that fights crime and are heroes, and completely went in a different direction because Keith isn't dead. So there is just so much stuff. You could focus in on just say, we could pick like a mid-tier character, like I don't know, like Harley or Ivy, and they have all kinds of lore. Peacemaker getting more lore. The bigger characters like Superman, Batman, they have tons and tons of it. And like I said, even characters like Booster Gold, have all kinds of lore. So I mean, there's lore within the lore, and it just, we can't be all Bill Dotree from the newest season of King of the Hill and finish Netflix. You finish Netflix, oh boy. And that's just one medium. So yeah, this is definitely going places we saw at the beginning with the fact that they are retconning stuff in real time based on just how the fact that Hawkgirl and Green Lantern were in like the flashback, the recap and stuff, and then him making that Green Lantern joke, because I was just like, did he make that Green Lantern joke? Well, he makes the Green Lantern joke now in this continuity. So
yeah, they totally retconned in Hawkgirl and Guy, because Guy wasn't in this friggin' series wasn't a thing until he's been introduced now in the Superman movie.
Yep. So yeah, this was certainly a thing. Not sure who that bunny girl was or if she's relevant, but that was one of the things that James Gunn was posting about, so maybe we'll come back to her. That was one of the things I was talking about during the intro, so I don't know if that was to like one-off or what. I'm not sure who she is, but that was something he was posting about, something about her costume, something like that. So we'll just have to see if she comes back, what her deal was. But generally speaking, when they go through effort for stuff like that, one-off cameo appearances like that, that amount of work isn't really something they do. So I assume we'll see her again at some point. But yeah, this is, I mean, audio equipment. You set up the mic wrong. This sequence was great. Just this whole thing. So we had this sequence with the Justice Gang, which I don't know if that's supposed to be like, I know in one of the universes there's the Justice Lords, and they're like way more hardliner, borderlining on like dictatorship, like metahuman supremacy kind of Justice League that are really hardcore about their stuff. So I don't know if the Justice Gang is like one of the offshoots of the League in that case with the retcon going on, because they changed. The other thing in the flashback and the recap was when Adebayo calls her mom in season 1, she asked for the Justice League. Okay?
Yeah.
So that tells me that stuff's already broken more to the point where the Justice Gang is probably the Justice League equivalent, and they're different.
Well, no, I'm looking at it.
Or it's
now.
like a side thing. You know what I mean? Like the Titans or
Yeah.
any of the other like hero organizations that, like the Birds of Prey, whatever.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. The Justice Gang is supposed to be like an aside group to the Justice League.
Okay. Because again, that was something I have not heard of before, so it kind of sounded like the whole Justice Lord thing or something to that effect. So if that's the case, then fair enough. But either way, for our first episode of the season here, did a good job with it. I was not aware Evergreen was supposed to be in Washington. There are all kinds of places all over the DC map. I did look up a DC map a couple months ago when we were talking about how this was coming out, but I don't remember if there's not a ton of stuff on the West Coast for the DC verse. Most of it's on the East Coast, and then you have like say Central City, Smallville, that kind of stuff. The major stuff on the West Coast is like where the Titans live, that kind of thing, and then I guess up here in Evergreen, that's supposed to be Washington, but again, I'm not sure how accurate the map I was looking at. So,
yeah, apparently the Justice Gang is something very new. It was introduced in that Superman movie.
Alrighty
But,
then.
yeah, it's basically a minor like subgroup that works with the Justice League, but isn't actually part of the Justice League.
All right. Well, there you have it. We'll just have to, if we can get our hands on that Superman movie somehow. I don't remember when that came out. If it's like on a platform somewhere to watch, like to rent or buy or Amazon, something like that.
It's still pretty new, so it might not be on streaming. I don't know. I haven't looked.
Right. So we'll have to check that out. But maybe before the season's over, we can get that context because it sounds important. Reasonably, whatever Luthor did. You know what I mean? So they're tying stuff together.
Based on context, he tried to do multi-dimension shenanigans.
Yep. Also, I kind of want to know who played Lex Luthor. So that's something. But either way, Harcourt's having a rough go. Toxic masculinity for I probably gonna have to blur that out for YouTube, but I forgot there's a giant freaking orgy, so I gotta be careful when I'm bouncing around looking for stills. But
yes,
on certain episodes.
But yes, clearly she's just getting blacklisted. But yes, just because you're female doesn't mean you can't have toxic masculinity.
Yeah, because masculinity is just a trait. You don't have to be a guy. It's
yeah. You can be a very feminine guy or a very masculine woman. Just because you're male or female doesn't mean you can't be masculine or feminine.
Yep. So, but at the end of the day, that doctor can say whatever he wants. He has a point based on her personality, but she is absolutely getting screwed over. So even the most level-headed, temperamental individual is going to be upset. Okay? Maybe not punch your dashboard till down to your, bare bone on your knuckles upset, but still pretty pissed off because you've been blacklisted from your entire industry. And like she said, this is all she's ever trained to do. This is all she knows. So what the hell is she supposed to do now? And a lot of people are like, well, just go do something else. It's not that simple. You know what I mean? It's never that simple unless you have a ton of connections. Where are Harcourt's connections? In that industry. You know what I mean? So, and if anybody, like, if she tries to get like a character reference or something, she's not gonna get a, you know, like a solid reference from Waller, because Waller can just be like, no, yeah, I'm all of her previous bosses, Kerr. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. Yeah, the only people she knows are either on Waller's payroll or are part of Peacemaker's gang, which freaking can't really vouch for her.
nope. I mean, Economos is still doing what he's doing. He's apparently on thin ice already. Adebayo is trying to start
Also
her.
blacklisted.
She's trying to start her own like Archer agency, kind of basically trying to be Mallory Archer over here, like as a consultant in a way. Vigilante's still working at the freaking diner, so
Yeah.
that's not really changing for him. And Peacemaker did inherit his dad's inherited his dad's house, but that, you know, okay, maybe he has a paid off house, which still is a big deal. Doesn't matter what kind of house you have, if it's paid off, that's huge. But
Yeah, it means he's not living in the trailer anymore.
Yeah, not living in the trailer anymore. And he still has access to that quantum realm, which we learned more beings have access to it than just him. So
Yeah, we didn't get any real like significant context to it before. It's just we just saw his dad's workshop here, right at the entrance to it, and then his dad would just shoot him out of it because his dad in this timeline hates him.
Yep. So yeah, lots of cool stuff going on with this. But
It's quite literally a janitor's closet.
It is quite literally a janitor's closet. And for anybody who doesn't know, that generally speaking, that's a slang term for a place with a lot of portals that go to and from different places.
Yeah, it's
or not necessarily portals, but entry points, doors, whatever. You know.
Yeah, it's a red versus blue reference, but yeah, it just kind of turned into a general slang for just a place that could connect you to anywhere.
Yeah. And that's any myriad of entryways, doors, portals, whatever, what have you, that go to and from places. And they all connect to a centralized location, in this case, this place. So.
And centralized location is referred to as the janitor's closet.
Right. So that's interesting. But either way, yeah, Keith, okay. That's something that they're going to be doing. Now that the fact that Peacemaker has killed himself, his other self, are we going to go like full double life deal? Is he going to just, because he got a taste of what having a, you know, wholesome normal family life is like, is he going to go there instead? You know, not the only, we don't know, but the only bad thing we saw in this episode was he was with Harcourt for real, but, you know, they broke up and got divorced or whatever.
Well, we don't actually know who he was with. It was just said ex. But
well, yeah, but I mean, we still had the picture that he was looking at in the room, and it was her. So I would assume that's the ex that Keith was referring to was her.
Yeah, but we still don't know.
Right. But either way, yeah. So this opens up a lot of possibilities. So, probably not going to have anything like the Project Butterfly stuff going on, but it's going to be the multiverse nonsense. So.
Yeah, it's probably going to be a case of he's going to be bouncing back and forth between the two, leading more and more towards this like quote better life. But the more he interferes with this other timeline, the more he ends up screwing with things in the janitor's closet, and eventually they're going to like probably piss something off and turn it into a bigger deal.
Right.
That they have to actually resolve.
Yep. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with that. So there's all kinds of stuff on the table. So I'm in for it. the hardcore thing is going to continue being a thing. Economos, you know, all the new characters, that kind of thing. The comedy was still there, obviously. So they still have the comedy going for them. They still have the crazy, you know, epic 80s soundtrack, which again, I don't want to know how much they spent to get rights to all these songs. I really don't. So I know a lot of the bands that are featured aren't like super mainstream and big, but they're still big time 80s bands. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
while it's not like trying to license like Metallica or something, it's still going to add up, and they're still relevant and big in their circles, and it's still going to cost money.
Yeah, probably a pretty damn large portion of their budget went to licensing music. Though I'm pretty sure, we'll have to see, but I'm pretty sure they still aren't going to beat freaking JoJo's.
Right, yeah. Which, anybody who is a fan of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, apparently the score for Steel Ball Run has been completed, and the team doing it and the guy at the head of it said they're trying to win some major freaking musical awards with it. So it could be legendary.
Yeah, I mean, freaking...
They went hard. Like super hard, apparently.
Well, what you're saying something, because once again, previous seasons they had shit like Roundabout, Walk Like an Egyptian, all sorts of freaking really big, iconic freaking rock songs.
Yep. So, either way, yep, looking forward to more 80s madness. On this freaking Still Alone. Yep, hello, he's fucked. Solid line. But yeah, I'm in. This looks like it's going to be solid. So learning a little bit more about the DCU here, the new stuff, I guess, from the Superman movie, if we can get our hands on it. We probably won't have time to do like like its own separate video or review of it, so we'll probably just have to watch it on our own time, which our own time stuff is also piling up, so we'll just have to see.
Yeah, it might not even warrant it. I've heard more good than bad, but still rather mixed things about it.
Right. I'm willing to throw 2 hours at it, so if we can find it, like if it comes out and it's on digital somewhere to stream, we have to find some time, we'll just throw the 2 hours at it, even if it's not great, just for the context, mostly, you know. Do we look it up? Yeah. Sure, but if Nathan Fillion's in it, I kind of want to just see it. So, yeah. Anyway, that's all I really got for episode 1 here. Like where it's going, solid start. Got anything else, Age?
Yeah, I don't know. I'd assume, like I said, that the overarching thing is going to be that Peacemaker jumping between the timelines is somehow going to fuck something up because he doesn't know the rules of the janitor's closet because it was his dad's thing. And that there probably is some rule about going between the dimensions. That's why, like, you know, the alien refuses to acknowledge him, and that, like, no one on this side is trying to come over to his side.
Right.
Because the dad's alive on this side and probably knows whatever rules it is to not go to or not go into other people's doors.
Right. So clearly there could be already something wrong with what Eve's done going over there now twice. So, or just interacting with any other denizen that comes there, kind of deal. So, yeah. What I will say really quick here at the end is Peacemaker's helmet different, and the Dove of Peace is in the opposite direction.
Oh yeah, that was the part of the other thing I was going to talk about. Was I talked about it during the episode, but yeah, it makes sense that he'd have more tech, higher tech, and just in general be like more competent because he has a lot more history on this side, and being on good terms with his dad means his dad would have given him a lot more tech. Once again, like all this tech comes from his dad. The dad's whole thing was that he was like a tech genius.
Yep. And since they were estranged, and Augie didn't like Chris, obviously, because he killed Keith and among other reasons. It was basically just bare bones. Yeah, here's another helmet, whatever. I'm not going to sit here and, toil away, in my spare time and make you all kinds of cool stuff. In case of Peacemaker 2 has all kinds of cool stuff, like the magic stars and the jetpack and other stuff.
Yeah, presumably the defining moment of the two timelines is just that Chris didn't kill Keith in this timeline, and therefore, he didn't have his big falling out with his dad and all that.
Yep. And they somehow started a superhero team instead. So, that is what it is. But there's a lot of references. Again, there was an Ultra Humanite reference there. I've never heard of the Rainbow Guy or whatever the other press clipping was. But Ultra Humanite, I've heard of that guy. He was in the mid-2000s Justice League series. So, either way, yeah. So, we'll be doing this every Saturday, so looking forward to that. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, people of YouTube, beyond however you're watching, we always appreciate you stopping by and hanging with us here in the dojo for more. What is this? Live action night? Yeah, whatever. It's something different. It's not animated. It's not anime. It's a live action show. So I hope you change the card when you just shotgunned that intro earlier. Yeah. Okay. Good.
Comic book adjacent night.
Yeah, comic book adjacent night. It's something. Whatever. She has the card, so whatever she put there, I'll have to read. But anyway, again, we appreciate everybody stopping by and hanging out for more first time of this. It's not even more of this. I can't even do my usual outro because it's always been the same thing for the last 4 years. This is crap. But yes, live action night, whatever, comic book adjacent night, whatever we're doing here. We might do some more live action stuff in the future. Assuming if Peacemaker continues beyond season 2, we'll just have to see. But if we can fit some live action stuff in that we're really interested in, but generally speaking, that's not really the case. So Peacemaker is a pretty big exception because John Cena, it was a thing. And then since we were in the DC stuff with the Harley Quinn series, we're like, yeah, let's check it out. And it was good. So we figured if we have time to do it for the channel, why not? Because we're going to be watching it anyway. And we said we were going to do it. And it just happened to fall in a section of our schedule where we have 800 other things that we could be doing. But we said we were going to do it. So we're doing it. Yeah, whatever this is called, we'll be back on Saturday with more John Cena sandwich. So have a good morning, evening, afternoon, whatever it is for you. Have a good one. See you next time.
Green is better.
Yeah, green is better.
Hey everyone, Victoria here. If you enjoyed the video, please consider pushing those like and subscribe buttons. Your support is greatly appreciated. Thanks again for your time, and we hope to see you again in the future.